Hello guys, today I'm doing Percy Jackson Part 2, Rick Riordan, The Lightning Thief. If you guys haven't watched my previous video, go click on it, because I told you to. Anyways guys, today we are going to read this 5 pages from page 6, hold on, let me count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, to page 10. Let's get on with this. Some snickers from the group. Behind me, Nancy Bobofit mumbled to a friend. Like we're gonna use this in real life, like it's gonna say on our job applications. Please explain why Cronus ate his kids. And that's why, Mr. Jackson, Bruner said. To paraphrase Miss Bobofit's excellent question, does this matter in real life? Busted, Grover muttered. Shut up, Nancy hissed, her face even brighter red than her hair. At least Nancy got packed too. Mr. Bruner was the only one who ever caught her saying anything wrong. He had radar ears. I thought about his question and shrugged. I don't know, sir. I see. Mr. Bruner looked disappointed. Well, half credit, Mr. Jackson. Zeus did feed Cronus a mixture of mustard and wine, which made him disgorge his other 5 children who, of course, being immortal gods, had been living and growing up completely undigested in the Titan's stomach. The gods defeated their father, sliced him to pieces with his own scythe, and scattered his remains in Tartarus, the darkest part of the underworld. On that happy note, it's time for lunch. Mrs. Dodds, would you lead the group back outside? Sorry guys, my sister has her friends over. They're watching Descendants. I don't know. They like Disney. The class drifted off, the girls holding their stomachs, the guys pushing each other around and acting like doofuses. Grover and I were about to follow when Mr. Bruner said, Mr. Jackson, I knew that was coming. I told Grover to keep going. Then I turned to Mr. Bruner. Sir? Mr. Bruner had this look that wouldn't let you go. Intense brown eyes that could have been 1,000 years old and had seen everything. You must learn the answers to my question, Mr. Bruner told me, about the Titans, about real life, and how your studies apply to it. Oh. What you learn from me, he said, is vitally important. I expect you to treat it as such. I will accept only the best from you, Percy Jackson. I wanted to get angry. This guy was pushing me so hard. I mean, sure, it was cool on tournament days when he dressed up in a suit of Roman armor and shouted, "What ho!" and challenged us, sword point against chalk, to run to the board and name every Greek and Roman person that whoever lived, and their mother, and what god they worshipped. But Mr. Bruner expected me to be as good as everybody else, despite the fact that I have dyslexia and attention deficit disorder, and I have never made above a C- in my life. No, he didn't expect me to be as good, he expected me to be better, and I couldn't learn all those names and facts, much less spell them correctly. I mumbled something about trying harder, while Mr. Bruner took one last sad look at the steel, like he had been at this girl's funeral. He told me to go outside and eat my lunch. The class gathered on the front steps of the museum where we could watch the foot traffic along 5th Avenue. Oh my god, it is so loud. Can you guys turn it down? Overhead, a huge storm was brewing, with clouds blacker than I've ever seen over the city. I figured maybe it was global warming or something because the weather all across New York State had been weird since Christmas. We'd have massive snowstorms, flooding, wildfires from lightning strikes. I wouldn't have been surprised if this hurricane blowing in. Nobody else seemed to notice. Some of the guys were pelting pigeons with Lunchable crackers. Nancy Bobofit was trying to pickpocket something from a lady's purse, and, of course, Mrs. Dodds wasn't seeing a thing. Grover and I sat on the edge of the fountain, away from the others. We thought that maybe if we did that, everybody wouldn't know that we were from that school. The school where loser freaks who couldn't make it elsewhere. Detention? Grover asked. Nah, I said. Not from Bruner. I just wish he laid off me sometimes. I mean, I'm not a genius. Grover didn't say anything for a while. Then, when I thought he was going to give me some deep philosophical comment to make me feel better, he said, "Can I have your apple?" I didn't have much of an appetite, so I let him take it. I watched the stream of cabs going down 5th Avenue and thought about my mom's apartment, only a little way downtown from where we sat. I hadn't seen her since Christmas. I wanted so bad to jump in a taxi and head home. She'd hug me and be glad to see me, but she'd be disappointed too. She sent me right back to Yancy, remind me that I have to try harder, even if this was my 6th school in 6 years and I was probably going to be kicked out again. I wouldn't be able to stand that sad look she gives me. Mr. Bruner parked his wheelchair at the base of the handicapped ramp. He ate celery while he read a paperback novel. A red umbrella stuck up from the back of his chair, making it look like a motorized coffee table. I was about to unwrap my sandwich when Nancy Bobofit appeared in front of me with her ugly friends. I guess she'd gotten tired of stealing from tourists and dumped her half-eaten lunch in Grover's lap. Oops, she grinned at me with her grin's teeth. Her freckles were orange as if someone had spray-painted her face with liquid Cheetos. I tried to stay cool. The school counselor had told me a million times, count to 10, get control of your temper. But I was so mad my mind went blank. A wave roared in my ears. I don't remember touching her, but the next thing I knew, Nancy was sitting on her butt in the fountain, screaming, "Percy pushed me!" Mrs. Dodds materialized next to us. Some of the kids were whispering, "Did you see? The water. Like, it grabbed her." I didn't know what they were talking about. All I knew was that I was about to get in trouble again. As soon as Mrs. Dodds was sure poor little Nancy was okay, promising her to get a new shirt at the museum, gift shop, etc., etc., Mrs. Dodds turned on me. There was a triumphant fire in her eyes, as if I've done something she'd been waiting all semester. "Now, honey." "I know," I grumbled, about erasing workbooks. That wasn't the right thing to say. "Come with me," Mrs. Dodds said. "Wait," Grover yelped. "It was me. I pushed her." I stared at him, stunned. I couldn't believe he was trying to cover for me. Mrs. Dodds scared Grover to death. She glared at him so hard his whiskery chin trembled. "I don't think so, Mr. Underwood," she said. "But you will stay here." Grover looked at me desperately. "It's okay, man," I told him. "Thanks for trying." "Honey," Mrs. Dodds barked at me. "Now." Nancy Bobofit smirked. I gave her my deluxe "I'll kill you later" stare. Then I turned to face Mrs. Dodds, but she wasn't there. She was standing at the museum's entrance way at the top of the steps, gesturing impatiently to me. Come on. How'd she get there so fast? Anyways, guys, that was those were the 5 pages, and if you guys haven't seen the previous video, you probably won't understand anything I just said. And thanks for watching, or thanks for listening. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and smash that like button. See you around.